For more information, visit littlewarriors.ca. Now, we'll be jumping right into SMMidi's Super Mario 3D Land run now, which we have met the incentive for the fight to fight the final boss for. Take it away, Midi.
Alright, hello, I'm SMMidi. I do mainly games that are either have no ending or sort of have sort of less lore, kind of like this game. This is one of the Mario games where there's even less lore than usual. Incredible, right? But yeah, anyway, so essentially, this is kind of similar to another game I run, 3D World, where we are going to be sort of doing collectibles at the same time. In this run, whereas a lot of the time that wouldn't be the case. We'd kind of just be going through it, even though this is any percent. So we are going to need 100 medals as we come through in this run. So yeah, I will get to explaining, because there is a bit of a cutscene to start off with. I will get to explaining in a little bit, but time will start here. So 3, 2, 1, go. So pretty much straight away, we have a cutscene here. It is actually possible to skip this cutscene, just for the context there. But at the moment, it's not currently allowed in runs. But basically, if you copy a save file where you've already skipped the cutscene, then that is a possibility. But basically, yeah, Mario has to rescue Peach. She got kidnapped again, and for some reason, this game is has a thing where it wants to communicate that via postcards. I'm not sure why that's what they went for, but whatever. But because this game just loves the 3DS's effects, we can just shake the console and yeah, we can interact with the postcards. Very cool. For some reason, I mean, a lot of the time, 3D Mario games kind of use the gimmicks that Nintendo threw in for the console, but this game just leans in on it even more. So yeah, we will see a little bit of that as we come through on these first few levels. So, essentially, as with a lot of Mario games, there is one broken power-up, and that is the one we get straight away, the Tanuki. So this actually had a bit of a break with the series until this game. This was actually its first game, I believe, since Mario 3. So, yeah, kind of cool to see it come back. And we are going to see a lot of use here. So, first off, we have a bit of a gimmicky bit here. We are going to grab the medal. Essentially, if you stand on that eye platform, you will grab or you will essentially change the perspective of the area, which makes it a lot more obvious how exactly it's laid out. But what we're able to do, because we already know what to do there, you can pretty much just do a wall jump and then just swipe to extend your hitbox and grab the medals early. And that's one thing we are going to see a little bit more of, to grab medals in this game. But the main thing as well to mention on this level is that that flagpole, it is actually beneficial for me to go as low as possible. Similar to 3D World, what you want to do is, essentially, because the Bowser flag just despawns rather than needing to go all the way down, like in some games, essentially that means that it's the fastest way is to go low on the flagpole most of the time, wherever possible. So I'm going to grab the medal there. And again, more gimmicks being thrown at us. We have these, ink. Well, that was lucky. I had to get a tail swipe in very quick there, otherwise I would have got hit. That was pretty cool, though. So these ink piranha plants, if we're on screen at the time, near enough to them, even if they're in the background, then they will pretty much act like a blooper in Mario Kart. It's kind of a interesting mechanic going on. It kind of makes more of a difference if you have the 3D effect on, which I don't. You kind of don't really need the 3D effect at all in this run, which is good. So yeah, we have pretty much skipped the... we've used the warp pipe there to just skip one world. The warp pipes don't do too much in this game, but we are still going to be using them. So we're going to use one in World 1 and World 4. So there is another little gimmick we have. So essentially, if we use those binoculars, we can zoom in on a toad sometimes, and there are lots of pairs of binoculars in this game. However, not all of them have a toad to zoom in on. So what we can do there is just zoom in on him and he will spawn in a medal quite far into the stage. So we managed to get one there. Similar thing to 1-1 where we are doing a wall jump and then just grabbing the medal there. So these first few, because the medals are quite easy to get, we are going to be grabbing most of them. And then here what we're going to do is, instead of going round on those trampolines, we are just going to do some wall jumping. So the way wall jumping works in this game is that because there are 2 walls to jump on there, we can actually climb really easily. However, if we were only climbing up one of them, even if you have Tanuki, the game kind of makes it impossible to gain height. So the first wall jump, you can kind of save yourself. So if we're going for some skips later on in the run, there are going to be some moments where I'm going to be doing a wall jump just to save it sometimes. But after the first wall jump, you actually lose height. So it's pretty much impossible to actually save yourself from there unless you have a second wall to jump from, which essentially resets that kind of marker that the game uses of where exactly to gain or not gain height. So in here, we've got an extra medal. And there is a little skip here. I am actually not going to go for it. It literally only saves like 5 seconds. But basically, it's a little bit inconsistent for me. So essentially, if you do a really big long jump there, then you can actually land on those bricks. So it's literally just a 2-block space. And then we'll jump to the 1-block question mark block. And then skip that area. Again, literally only saves about 5 seconds. So for me at the moment, it's not really worth going for all the time. So yeah, I think I got it in my PB and I just lost 1.5. So it doesn't really matter too much. 1.5 seconds. But yeah, that's essentially the one of the skips I know we will be skipping. Most of them I will actually be doing in this run, but most of them are sort of later in the run. And coming up now, we have a mystery box. So these work slightly differently to 3D World, which is sort of the successor to this game, which was from the same generation, so the Wii U and then eventually the Switch. So the idea here is you get 10 seconds and you've just got to take out the enemies and you get a medal for that. But there is going to be something later on, and you might have seen it there when I was mashing through those text boxes about Street Pass. So it's not necessarily related to Street Pass, but there is something a bit silly in this game related to the Mii that I select for the file, which I did before the run. So what we're going to do here now, we have these Tanuki cogs. So if I crouch and then mash X there, that actually goes a little bit faster than just mashing X itself. And then we're going to do a big long jump. So long jumps from a height like that gain a bunch of momentum, and then we're able to just go straight into that propeller, go down here again, do the same thing, and then grab the medal, and then hopefully just do a little swipe there to get a bit more speed. Nice one. And then we managed to get the medal as well. So in that single brick down there, there was another Tanuki cog. That's the intended way to get that one. But it's a lot faster to just skip using that. That was literally a perfect level. I'm really happy with that. Yeah, so pretty much you skip that by just barely going on the edge of that block and then making that. So that was pretty cool. And we do have a lot of propeller usage in this run. The propeller is also in 3D World, but you see it a lot more in this run than you do in that game. And there you might have seen the classic, I don't know what Nintendo, like, in this era, they were doing a lot of, like, oh, take a break because of stuff to do with the 3DS and that. If you're using the effects of the 3DS, they kind of want you to be taking a break. So that will appear every half an hour. So technically, because most of the time I'm going to be completing a run that's just over an hour, that is going to be meaning we see 2 of those, but sometimes we might see 3. It's literally only a 1-second time loss. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, it's just a nice, funny little intricate thing about this game. And they're very quick levels. So that was a flip panel level, kind of similar to what appear in the ones that appear in Mario Galaxy. But we did skip a medal. So you might notice we didn't get all 3 there. That is because it was a rainbow block for the extra medal. And as much as I would like to do those, essentially they are kind of just bonus areas, which means you're not progressing in the level itself while you're grabbing those medals, so they're never really worth grabbing. We do have some to get as backups, but for the most part, I'm not going to be needing them. But I do have a list of them just in case we need. So here what we're going to do is we're going to get on this bullet bill launcher, skip the camera, and that is the main feature of these airship levels. So they are the main auto-scrollers in the game, but what we can do most of the time is just jump into things slightly early. As long as we can hit those camera triggers, so that one, for instance, manages to get all the way over there. The intended way is just to go in that box, but that's very slow, so we don't do that. And then here's another level. So a lot of these the enemies in this game have tanuki tails, and sometimes if you hit them, you do get a tanuki from them. But of course, we only have one backup tanuki in this game, so we don't really need it at the moment. And then moving on, we have Boom Boom. So Boom Boom is actually surprisingly awkward in this game. He has a huge hitbox compared to 3D World, where he's even easier. But it should be an easy boss on paper, but sometimes he can be a bit of a pain. We are going to go for a hit on the head for the first two, and then swipe him on the last one, because that is the most optimal way of doing the boss. But the thing with this game is you can actually hit him a lot earlier than in 3D World. 3D World, it's kind of even easier to see exactly where you're at. And then here, because the pipe takes ages to despawn, we can kind of use it as an extra platform there, and then get back up and finish the level. So at the moment, we should be on 21 medals. I'm hoping we are. So again, we do have a few backups in this run, but there are a lot of levels we are going to be skipping later. You might notice the route in this game is very linear. So it's all on a straight path. There's no kind of divergence or anything. But sometimes there will be a level that you have to unlock with medals. And for all of those, it does give you the option of skipping. And we are going to skip all of them. It's never really worth playing those in this run. So moving on, again, introduced to a bit of a new mechanic in this game. So there is a cannon which is controlled by motion. And what we're going to do is aim for the corner of this area. So I'm just going to aim for the corner of that pillar. And we are able to wall jump very quickly here. So there's quite a lot of leniency. That looks kind of hard to make, but there is a bit of leniency to actually make it onto that platform. And even if you miss it, then it's not too hard to just make it back to where you were and reset back into the cannon and go back in. So there is a hidden propeller there, and it's completely going to break this level. So this is one of the biggest levels in the game where you can kind of just do whatever you want as long as you know where you're going. So we're going to go around the back here, go through the door. Oops. Going to go through the door, do a long jump here, and then just hold A to do a propel. Go up here, grab the medal, and then as soon as we come out of this door, this is the final part. So we've pretty much skipped the entire climb of the tower by using the propeller. And the propeller is kind of useful again later in kind of the same way. And you might notice as well with this game doesn't actually have score. So every time we finish a level, instead of getting score for our time remaining, we actually get coins. So although we don't really pick up any 1-ups in this run, this game is kind of nice for that. And although we're not going to need the 1-ups in this run, normally we would for something that will become relevant because of the incentive later, but we will actually not need them. But normally we'd be taking 10 deaths later on in the run to get a very broken power-up, which we won't be using because of the incentive. So yeah, thanks again everyone for reaching that, because it will slightly change what we normally see in any percent. Oh, there we go. So this, for some reason, this water level is a bit strange. So if you press A to go up a bit there, you will actually sometimes go up to the surface. Trying to avoid that there, but that's okay. So there's not really a way of speeding up these levels. There's only really one water level we're going to see. There is another one later, but there is a pretty unique way of skipping that, which we're going to see. So, although this level's kind of slow, we are still going to be needing to go out of our way for these medals, because they are all worth grabbing. And then there's another one in a moment, which we're going to barely be able to squeeze past some of these enemies to grab. So, there is a giant eel that's going to come out from here, but as long as we just pretty much hug the wall, we should be fine. There you go. I don't know why that used to cause me so many issues when I first started running this. And then if you barely do like a rolling long jump there, like I just did, you should be able to just make it straight onto the pipe, which is a tiny optimization. Turns out you can actually save time in a water level. Who knew? So, yeah, pretty nice level. And again, long jumping at the end to just go on the bottom of the flag to save a little bit of time. And you know those postcards earlier that I was mentioning? Well, that is the house where you can view all of them. Again, it's kind of not really needed in the run. You don't really need to go there at all, unfortunately. But that is an option if you want to. So here, I don't actually have much speed, so I am going to do a backup wall jump. Again, Tanuki kind of allowing us to skip having to jump on all those platforms to go around and then reach the Tanuki cog. And then these areas are actually kind of difficult. So normally it's really easy to climb on bricks in Mario games, but for some reason in this game, the amount of height you get from like jumping is not really enough unless you're sprinting to actually make it onto these bricks. So it kind of helps to use the pipe to actually like get an extra platform going to make it on there. And these timers technically not worth grabbing because it will take a bit longer to count up our time at the end of the run. Or the end of the level, sorry. But it literally only loses a few frames, so it's no big deal. And then here... Oh, missing the... Okay, that's fine. So what we're going to have to do is take a death. We do have another Tanuki, so that's fine. But essentially, if I miss that, then I either need to take a death or grab a backup later. And the issue is I don't have that many backups, although I know where they all are and they're all quite conveniently placed. I would like to not inconvenience myself later. I feel like that's a good idea. So we will just have to zoom in on him again. And the thing with this game and the original 3D World on Wii U is whenever you die, you actually lose your collectibles. So if you had any medals or in 3D World green stars, you will lose them and you will have to re-grab them. In 3D World Switch, that is not a thing. So it's a much nicer game to run in that respect. But there's not really going to be a lot of places where I'm taking deaths like that. There is a way of doing that medal where, because of the way it kind of appears, because of it being one that Toad throws to you, there is a way of, if you know exactly what to do, kind of doing the long jump into where the medal is, into like a really, what seems like a random direction. I am going to go back down here because there's another Tanuki here. But yeah, if you know what you're doing there, then it will make it a lot easier. So there is an entire tightrope section around the back there. We are going to skip it. That does mean we skip a medal. Again, it's only a rainbow block, so it's a really, really slow medal to get. And then we're pretty much going to be waiting. So there is another way of skipping this block. So it's very, very precise. I'm just going to make sure we actually get on the block because I have... I've hit that block once before, very recently in a run. And the issue with that is if you hit a flying block in Mario, it will then stop flying. And we need it to fly to reach this medal. But there is a way of actually like making the block continue to move and then barely swiping the medal and then somehow still getting in the box. It's a very precise trick. But it would save a lot of time if you do go for that medal. So again, this block here to start off with, this is an unlockable level, so we are going to be skipping it. Yeah, that's really what I should do. I should be looking at the postcards. I mean, technically we are seeing the postcards anyway. The game kind of forces us to see them in the cutscenes, so yeah, we're still seeing them in a way. Okay, so this is a kind of hard level to make the cycles for, so I am going to focus a bit. First one is this one, making that one very nicely. Good. Okay, that's fine. That's going to make my life a bit harder later, but that's okay. Okay, you know what? We're just going to be a little bit safe about this. Nice, we still made it though. Very good. So that is a very hard cycle to make. Especially because I had to pop the Tanuki suit, and that kind of puts me behind a little bit. And the fact that I played a little bit safe just before that checkpoint, so you can just kind of make it straight to where that checkpoint is and just jump over everything, but it is very risky. Am I owning with facts and logic? Possibly. So here, although it's technically better for me to hit him on the head with Boom Boom, I am just going to go in the top left corner and then just swipe him because I prefer not to get hit. the next 2 levels will be really nice to have Tanuki for, and there is not a backup Tanuki. Especially 4-2, which will become obvious very quickly. So I'm going to try and keep it here. Very good. And then again, the pipe spawns in the same place. It's always at the top. And you might realise, hang on, we've only got 2 medals. So there is a medal that's a bit of a troll here. And it's on the edge of the airship. So most of the time there is something on the edge of the airship, but this is the only level in any percent where it's actually a medal on the end. Bit of a troll, but there you go. So already we are 3 worlds in, and moving on to World 4, which again is going to be a very short one. We are only going to be doing 2 levels, and we're going to be doing the warp pipe once again. So yeah, 4-1 is another level where we're going to be skipping one of the medals, but we will make up for it instantly in the mystery house. It's still really silly, and it's always really funny to explain it to anyone who isn't aware. But I will save it for when we get there. You've got a little glimpse of that mystery house already, but we're getting there. I will explain it soon. So essentially, this level again, we're going to be going in this block here. Grab that medal and then go back out. There we go. Always a little bit hard to control in the 1 block gaps there. So what we want to do is, you're intended to climb this tree to get that propeller, but the issue with that is you then fall all the way back down again. So if you have Tanuki, it makes it a lot easier there to just grab it straight away. Again, rainbow block, very slow. We're not going to be doing that. And then we are, instead of using the cannon, we can actually just long jump and then use the propeller to grab that with a precise setup. And then normally you want to climb this entire tree to get to the top. Yeah, we're not going to do any of that because they've decided to give us a propeller. Seriously, this game between the propeller and the Tanuki completely breaks. That was, yeah, very, very good level there. Nice gold split as well. Was not expecting that. But pretty much nothing could have been improved looking back on it. So, very nice. So, moving on. This is the mystery house. And, yeah. So, we get 2 medals on this one. And we get a Tanuki. And if you want it, you can get a fire flower as well. Why is this? So, because on my profile, I have a me with a black shirt as its favourite colour, I get 2 medals instead of 1. I am not joking. I wish I was joking. That is the entire reason. I have no idea how that was found, but yeah, it's really silly. So it kind of manipulates the way that it assigns the golden house. So like at some point in the game, you're gonna get one of those, I believe. But yeah, by using a me with a black shirt, we actually make sure that we get it here. Yeah, so it's really funny. But yeah, now we have another level that is involving a lot of vertical climbing. Oops. You know what? Now I'm over here. Might as well just use the block. So normally you want to just do a wall jump to grab that, but it's only a little bit faster. So we're going to use these trampolines, get up here, and not quite getting the height I want, so we use the other one. And then once again, same as the World 1-2 skip, we are going to be getting in the warp pipe, and that's World 4 done. So because of that, again, we skip the cutscenes, and that's why those warp pipes are really good, because we do skip those extra cutscenes, which are very, very long. And then moving on, we have 5-1. There is going to be an auto-scroller in here. And then what the game wants us to use is the boomerang. So that's another power-up that's fairly new. I'm not sure the boomerang might actually be new for this game. But yeah, either way, another area where we're using the warp pipe to kind of get a bit of a boost, and then grab that medal. Oops, there we go. So yeah, you might notice as well, I haven't really talked about it too much, but the main way you want to be getting around in this game is by using these rolling long jumps. You can do it without the Tanuki, but the Tanuki does kind of give you that, that little bit of safety. There is one thing to note though, and that is, if I do a long jump, then you can actually act out of it, but if you do a rolling long jump, you need to get down on the ground again to do anything else. So that will come in useful as good knowledge later. Also, yeah, that boomerang flower doesn't normally just spawn like that. There was a boomerang bow that I hit. Basically, if you do this tail swiping, this rapid tail swiping, that stops the boomerang bow from spawning in, and he just dies before he even appears on the screen. So you just get the boomerang for free. Now, that is the intentional way of getting the medal here. So we have to, like, go off this lift ordinarily, but we will just be able to float to the medal. And that's pretty much the level. So, yeah, if there's any messages or anything, feel free to fire away for the next sort of 30 seconds.
I do have a donation for you.
Excellent.
This is $10 in from Palix00 saying, "Is this runner really destroying me with facts and logic? Us seeing postcards when they get sent means that we are technically seeing postcards, thus it should mean I need to donate as well, as we have seen it. As a German, I can only say, ja." Thank you for that.
Alright, thanks so much. Yeah, so I guess we are seeing the postcards. Although we are skipping a couple because of those warp pipes, but yeah. Yeah, definitely do get donating if you can. I know we've already hit so many goals for this event, but we can still go further. So yeah, do get your donations in. Alright, so this is another fairly difficult level to actually time things. So yeah, just going to be a little bit careful here. So essentially, the cycles can be a little bit messed up if I don't do things properly. Did manage to do everything fine there, though. Nice. So, essentially, I want to just be doing rolling long jumps, but only at specific points there. And a bit of a troll mystery box there. So, that doesn't actually have a medal in it. So, if you do go in there as a backup, which I believe I have done when I was very new to the game, kind of expecting there to be a medal in there. That's not always the case in this game. It's always the case in 3D World, but it's not always the case here. Sometimes you go in there and it will just give you some coins or something, or it will just be an area to throw you off, basically. But yeah, the medal we skipped is because you need Fire Flower to get there. You do get a Fire Flower on that level, but you need to go into a separate area to then light up all the candles and then get the medal. So, yeah. Kind of a thing carried over from 3D World, where it's technically not possible to get every collectible with no items. And that is the reason why. And both games, it's because of the Fire Flower. Alright, so another level here where we're going to be very movement focused, kind of in some small spaces. So you've got these big red moles. They take 2 HP to hit before they disappear. But most of the time we're going to be leaving them alone. Okay, what we're trying to do is go through here. And a funny thing in this game, if you crouch through a gap like that, normally that would be a huge fall. But if you crouch, then you actually just fall like a stone. Which is quite funny. So yeah, really, really nice way of speeding that area up. So we're just going to go through there. Just keep doing some rolling long jumps through these gaps. There's not really a better way of speeding these up. Oops. Alright, well, maybe not doing that would be faster, but that's fine. So, another thing here is there are 5 pipes. It's kind of just a pick a pipe before Mario Maker was a thing. But it's always the 4th one, so it's fine. Honestly, this game is really fun. This game is really fun to speedrun as well, if you are familiar with, like, what to do exactly with the movement, and if you're familiar with the levels themselves. It can be really difficult because the game is really small, like the actual screen is really small, so it's really hard unless you know what the level layout looks like. Some of the other 3D Mario games that I've played, like 3D World definitely, does a much better job, mainly because it's widescreen, or like widescreen 16:9. Of actually showing off like what is remaining in the level, so you actually know where you're going. But obviously, screen limitations mean that's not going to be as easy in this game. And also, talking of screen limitations, shouts to Tech for making this run possible, because yeah, dual screen setup is an absolute pain, especially when the screens aren't the same size. So yeah, shouts to everyone working for Prevent-A-Thon, as always. So here what we're going to do again, same as earlier, we're going to do a really big long jump. Try and grab this medal on the way past. It's not looking great, So I am just going to use the propeller here, grab the medal, and then we're going to land on this block to do another long jump, and then get onto the flag. There we go. Not too bad. So you can just do that jump in a really specific way, and you should be able to get that every time, but it is still very precise to do that. It's not only where you long jump from, how early the long jump was, it's also what direction you're holding during the fall as well, so there's a lot that goes into it. Oops, I did not press that button, but sure. Okay. Another thing I haven't noted yet in the run, and it's a very, very minor thing, but basically, instead of pressing right to go to the next level, I'm actually tapping the touch screen. And the reason for that is if you test it out by going to a world that you've unlocked all the levels in, if you go from the starting point to the end point of the world, if you tap rather than keep touching A, it saves at least a second. So it actually kind of adds up in the run. It's a very, very minor thing, but it does add up over time. That is not where I wanted to go, but that's okay. That's fine. So we're just going to pop our Tanuki. Our cycles are going to be a little bit different now, but that's fine. Just going to be a little bit safer here. Yeah, there's a lot of precise stuff going on in this level, so I do want to be safe. And then, again, hard to climb blocks. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to have to wait for the Thwomp again. That is just because it's just that hard to climb blocks in this game. So we do have the checkpoint. You know what? Just for safety, I'm going to grab it. And then that also makes this this Thwomp section a bit easier. So the moment you get in the area of that Thwomp, it is going to start sort of noticing you, and then it's going to eventually go down on the ground. And it's very easy to get hit by Thwomps in this game. The moment you get hit, even if you're doing a rolling long jump and you barely intersect its path for a moment, you are going to get hit. So this is one of the first actual Bowser fights we're seeing here. So basically, Bowser jumps to different points in the level based on where you are. But if we do that really quickly, because of the way he attacks on this level, if we do it really quickly like we just did, then he just won't get to us in time. But if he does, then there is that chance where he is going to reach us and then hit us because of his massive hitbox. But you can just sort of jump around him sometimes, but that is also even riskier in a way, because if you jump around, off the path, and then you get hit at the same time, then there's no way of floating back onto the path. So, yeah. Basically, just do it right the first time is is what I was thankfully able to do there. So yeah, we have 3 worlds remaining. And then moving on, World 6 is actually kind of nice for Tanuki backups. So we have 4 out of 5 of these main levels have a Tanuki in some form. Whether or not it's from a roulette block or not is another thing. So 6-1 is only in a roulette block, which is intended to be RNG. But again, there are some setups. And I do have one to actually get this medal. This Tanuki from the box. So I will try to go for it. It is a little bit slower, but it does make it a little bit safer. It does put the Tanuki back in our reserve box. Oops. So yeah, another troll medal there. You have to go behind the rock to find that one. And if I just run up to this, then we should just get Tanuki every time. Very good. And just slowing down a little bit there because I wasn't looking great. Very easy to miss that if you don't approach it in the right way. And yeah, again, if you do a rolling long jump in this game, you can't then act out of it compared to a long jump, so it's very hard to save things. So here's the medal at the top, so we need to just have a little bit more speed onto that, that rope. And then come up to here, and we're just going to skip going on those platforms there as well. You can do that by a long jump, but long jumps don't give you that much height in this game. You pretty much don't gain any height from long jumps, so it can be a little bit riskier. Although it does give you a bit more speed than just a regular jump. So moving on, 6-2, this is another level with a Tanuki, and technically if you are clever with it, you can also get a second Tanuki. So if I do start having a nightmare here, it should be fine, because we can technically grab 2. So again, another block where we're going to grab a medal and then go through here. And there are a couple of things to try and make based on the cycles here. So we're going to get on this lift, and I'm actually going to climb onto the top of it just to make it through here. Very nice, made it. And then the moment we get near that medal, the spike ball will appear. It takes a really long time to actually go though, so it's not really an issue. And then I'm just going to make sure we go on there. So there's a red ring. So red rings we haven't actually seen much so far, but basically the way it works in this game, there are only 5 coins in a red ring, but there we go, nice. There are only 5 coins in a red ring, but if we get them and we are anything either Super Mario or just Small Mario, so basically anything where there's no power up. So if you don't have a Fire Flower, a Boomerang, or a Tanuki or anything like that, then what will happen is it will give you the power-up of choice for that level. Or for that red ring specifically. Now, because one of those question mark blocks just after the checkpoint had a Tanuki in, what we could have done is we could have actually, had we have been on no Tanukis, we could have done the red ring, grabbed a Tanuki, and then go back to grab the Tanuki from the question mark block. And if you do it the other way round, the red ring won't actually give you a Tanuki, it will give you a 1-up. So that is a way of kind of getting it back up there. Wow, I did that so quickly that I managed to be early for the cycle. I've never done that. Normally I'm so slow that I have to go around the back of that box there to grab the medal. That's quite refreshing. Anyway, moving on. So essentially this ghost house is less so confusing with the actual level and more so of where the medals actually are. So you just have those first 2 areas which just serve the purpose of giving you the medal, and then here is just the ending of the level. So for some reason in this game there's a lot of Kaizo block placements, and on that tightrope is actually one of them. It has made me die in a run before. It is really quite a brutal placement, but basically if you do a big jump there and you hit the block, the hidden block that's there, which I don't even know what the reason for it is because it doesn't really lead to anything. Yeah, that can really throw you off, especially with that big boo appearing. So again, another one of these mystery boxes, gonna get an extra medal from this. And a few extra coins. So coming up soon, we do have the beat block level. You might be able to see a little glimpse of it coming up. So this is kind of similar to levels that appeared in Mario Galaxy and also Mario 3D World. So essentially the blocks will change based on the music. But the weird thing with this level is because there's only 3 blocks rather than... well, there's 3 blocks rather than the usual 2. The actual notation of the music is really weird for one of the special worlds. So later on in the post-game, which we're not going to see in this run, essentially the blocks all change one by one rather than all 3 switching on and then all 3 switching off. They all go one by one. And it completely messes with the music. It's kind of trippy. But yeah. So I'm just gonna, barely avoiding that spike bar there. Yeah, if you're actually fast on this level, it is really hard to then actually go fast for this end section. But yeah, still very good stage. And then moving on, we have 6-Airship. So mostly an auto-scroller here. There are going to be a couple of things, tiny things we can skip. But for the most part, it is just auto-scroller. So we do have another optional level here. Not worth playing. We're just going to move straight on. We do have enough medals at this stage. We are on the exact amount of medals that I planned, which is good. I am very glad that we took an intentional death just to grab that medal earlier. So, what we have is a lot of these grinders, or I think that's the name. So, if we're not careful there, then we can get hit by these. There is a Tanuki on this level pretty much for free, which is very nice. So it's right here. And the good thing with, if you've already got Tanuki, is that for some reason this game, it might have been like a slight thing you might have noticed so far. It's a very minor thing, but basically, whenever you transform with a power-up in Mario games, you have a few frames where, like, the whole game freezes while you transform. But for some reason, in this game, it takes like a solid second for that all to happen. I have no idea why it takes that long, but yeah, essentially, every time you either get a power-up or you lose a power-up, that is going to be happening. And yeah, slight camera skip there. You can go a little bit further ahead with that skip, but you do run the risk of going inside where that grinder is. And the issue with going inside there is that there is no solid ground. So you die. You just die. So it's very risky. And the worst thing with the airships dying on those is that you have to do the entire thing again. So now we have Pom Pom. Pom Pom is even easier than Boom Boom. So she is so slow with her attack phase that you can just... Oh, hello. Okay, we're having to do an extra part. Okay. She's so slow with the attack phase that... that's what I get for dissing her. She's so slow for the attack phase that you can literally just crouch and then just go around and somehow not get hit. It looks like you should get hit, but you just don't. Yeah, honestly, I'd really recommend this game. It does feel a little bit clunky, honestly, in terms of the, the movement without Tanuki. It's a very clunky game. I would recommend 3D World a lot more in terms of a casual experience, but I did have a lot of fun as a kid playing both. But yeah, when you get more familiar with the Tanuki, it's a little bit nicer to actually play as a speedrun. So we're coming on to some pretty difficult levels now. We have 7-1, and some of these levels are going to be pretty difficult, and we only have one Tanuki in this world. So this is what I'd like to dub Gauntlet. So I kind of have a Gauntlet in 3D World, which is the last half of World 6 and the first half of World 7, where there's only one catsuit, which is the power-up of choice in that game. Also, shout out to this level. So this is a water level. We are going to be skipping it. So they just put the flagpole at the beginning. So yeah, it's worth it for us to just not do the level. Water levels are just that slow. But yeah, so yeah, pretty fun. Yeah, it's the funny level. So even though some of these medals might look a little bit slow, it's a lot faster than just actually doing that level. And when I did one of the longer runs in this game where you actually have to play that level, I actually struggled a lot because I wasn't familiar with the level. Because I did practice it, but I was so unfamiliar with it because of not having to do it at any percent. Oh, that is unfortunate. Oh, come on. Really? Okay, that is an issue. Wow, I played myself. Okay, we got it.
Good recovery, though.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure I was going to do that. I've never seen that. So you can kind of pop the power up at any time. So as long as you tap the touchscreen, then it will appear. And it's quite funny because at the start of some levels, you'll have like this thing where you fall down really far. And then it will take a really long time for the Tanuki to actually like come down. And that was kind of what happened there. So I popped it before I was on solid ground, so it took ages to come back down. So that's not a great start. We're already down to one Tanuki, but it's okay. I mean, we already cleared 7-1 and 7-2. 7-1 being obviously a very, very hard level to do. But it's okay. It's alright. So 7-4, this is going to be one of our first kind of big skips going on in the run. So on this level, there is a maze section with kind of 3 entry points. And what we're going to do is we're going to not bother with any of that. We are going to use the momentum we get from one of the blue lifts to make it straight on. And it's a very precise jump to make it, but we are going to try. There is some leniency in there, but also the fact that there's so many factors that go into it because it's, you know, it's 3D and there's so many things that can go slightly differently each time, that it's always going to be slightly different. So barely missing that cycle, that's fine. So we're going to get a little bit of momentum. Oh, that's unfortunate. So if you get onto the side of there, just like this. Oh, not making it. So you can't actually wall jump off of that little platform, which is unfortunate because it would be so much easier to make this. There you go. So if you don't make it the first time, it's really easy to get hit to that enemy there, but luckily we managed to not get hit. And the reason why I'm very happy with that is because the end is so easy with Tanuki. You can just skip all of the left-hand side, just go straight to the end. And again, that's another thing with this game, because of the fact that it's all completely open, it's all unlocked. There's not really many death planes that kind of stop you from doing stuff like that. So you can just go ahead and just do that. Okay, moving on. 7-5. This is another really hard level, especially the ending. But the good thing is there's 2 Tanukis, and one of them is after the checkpoint. So I do have a couple of attempts at this one. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's fine. It's not worth restarting because there is a Tanuki, as I say. Well, there are 2 of them. So essentially, this is kind of like some other areas you see in other Mario games, other 3D Mario games with the saws. So every time you get onto a section, it will then kind of disappear. And then you've got this area, just grab the medal there. So I want to be careful with exactly where I'm doing a rolling long jump or where I'm doing just a regular long jump. Because again, as I mentioned earlier, a long jump means you can act out of it with an extra move. But a rolling long jump means you can't. So we're just going to get this Goomba and then go. And we're going to try and skip this whole lift section. So first up, we're going to do that. Oh, no. This will be very hard to save now. Yeah, that's not... No, that's not happening. Let's just die and then reset ourselves and then get back. That's fine. So we're going to pop another Tanuki. There we go. And again, because that one's there, really easy to just grab that and give it another go. So my reference point is as soon as we pass this Goomba. Oh, come on. So we got a few lag frames there. That's fine. Backing it up. So again, with the first long jump, oh sorry, with the first wall jump rather, you can, nice, back up. I did not want to just go for the risky one where we go straight to the wall there. So using the backup Goombas, that's fine. Still much faster than actually waiting for the lift. If you miss it straight away. But yeah, it's still cool to show off. So yeah, you can long jump off those tiny blue platforms. They are very precise to get on though. And pretty much the moment you land on them, you have to just do the move straight away. And as I was saying with long jumps earlier, because you don't get much vertical height with them, it is kind of precise to actually stay with those and actually make it to where you want to go. So this level has a huge camera skip. So basically the entire level is unlocked. But what you have to do to skip the camera is play the entire level blind. And I've tried to do this. It's really, really difficult. Not to mention that some of these spinning like cylinder platforms later on, they have spike blocks on them, which you do get hit to. So not only that, but you also lose out on a medal by doing the skip. So you have to grab it later on. So it actually doesn't really save as much as it looks. So you kind of have to go for the entire skip if you want to go for it. But it does save a lot of time. I am going to try and do a little bit of a camera skip near the end here, but we're not going to do a whole lot. Also, because of me not actually going to the right straight away, that does delay the Kamex spawning in. So yeah, a little bit of a camera skip here. Just take out this Rocky Wrench early. And we do have to wait for the cycle here for this medal anyway. It's really hard to make that one without doing any skips. So we're just going to grab that medal. And nice. Again, if we die on this level, then that means we have to do the entire thing again. So, very good to just not do that. So now we have Boom Boom and Pom Pom at the same time. In a way, this kind of makes them, as an individual boss, even easier. Because you might notice Boom Boom, because of his moveset, is locked to the bottom. And Pom Pom just doesn't go to the bottom in the first place. Even though she technically could. She's just locked to the top. So, we're just going to take them out one by one here. And similar to before, we're just going to evade Pom Pom where possible. And then just get the hit there. So, for some reason on this level, the pipe actually spawns in a slightly different place. It spawns in the middle. Probably because of how the arena's split up. Oh, that's unfortunate. So, we grab the timer. That is only really about a second lost. It's really no big deal. But it does mean that the timer takes a little bit longer to tick up. So yeah, currently at the moment, assuming that all the skips go well later on, we're on pace for a 105. So just be aware of that. Although the incentive will add a couple of minutes to that. But yeah, we are on pace to absolutely smash the estimate. So yeah, just just keep that in mind. So we're moving on. One more world remaining. And again, these first few levels are really generous with Tanuki backups. So there is a hidden Tanuki in one of the blocks in these first two levels. At the moment, we are fine, though. We do still have that Tanuki in reserve. And there are a couple of things we can do to skip things in this level. So first off, we're going to go for these rolling long jumps. Even over those gaps, barely able to make it. So just going to go around that platform. And then what we're going to do, go and grab that medal. Unfortunately, not making it straight away. Oh, can I save it? No, it's not happening, I don't think. Oh, it is happening. Okay, wow, that's really hard. So, you know, I was mentioning earlier where after the first wall jump, you basically can't save it. Well, you can if you do like a diagonal wall jump. So it's kind of hard to do, but yeah, if you go at kind of a diagonal angle, it does mean that you can then get a bit more height, and that was barely enough for me to make it. Had I not made that, I would have had to pretty much do the entire climb of that first section again. So yeah, pretty good. And then here, we're just going to grab that medal and then turn back round again. Normally, you're intended to use the cannon at the bottom there. But instead, we're just going to do that. And that is a huge gold. That is a 6-second gold. And I am not surprised because that was really good. But yeah, basically, again, using the cannon with the gyro controls is what is intended there. But if you know where the medal is exactly, then you can just grab it and then get to the final platform. Okay, gonna focus for this skip. This is a very hard skip. It is reliant on the enemy being in the right place. Oh, come on. You know what? I'm gonna restart the course. I want to show it off. We got plenty of time. I want to show this off. We're gonna give it a couple more tries. I won't go for it for ages, but yeah, I would like to show it off. So by doing that and landing barely onto that fire platform, which does kind of act as a platform, even though it's technically not really supposed to be one. Oh, barely not getting that. That's fine. Easy backup. Yeah, so by doing that and then barely managing to hit that enemy and then also, okay, yeah, the poles have a huge reach. But yeah, by doing that skip, you can just avoid having to do that entire pole section at the beginning. I am going to go for the other skip here. It's a bit more precise and a bit less worth going for, but I am going to try it anyway. So we want to grab this medal, and then it's possible to skip using this pole. So just do that, and then make it to the end. Nice. So there is a backup of doing a... hang on, let me just not die at the end here. That would be embarrassing. And has happened before. Yeah, so you want to skip those poles wherever possible. They're really slow. They're pretty much auto-scrollers. Essentially, when you jump off the poles in this game, it's another thing where it feels really clunky because even with Tanuki, you basically can't get any horizontal distance. But yeah, luckily with that skip, there is a little bit of a backup if I need it with a wall jump. But it's... Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. That's fine. There is a little bit of a backup with the wall jump, but if you miss it, or if you end up on like the lower part of that wall, it's a really early death plane. So you pretty much just die straight away. Okay, this is another level with some really hard skips, so we're going to go for them here. This level is pretty much like a, technically an auto-scroller because of these platforms. We are going to skip them, apart from this first section. So I am going to need a lot of focus for this. Okay, right, so that's the first one. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to soft reset the game. I'm not sure if I've done this so far. But essentially, by doing a certain button combo, what it allows us to do is just go back to the main menu screen and restore all of our power-ups. So had I have pressed return to menu there instead, or like select course, what would have happened is I would have been able to go back in the level, but I wouldn't have preserved my power-ups. So by doing it this way, it's a little bit more safe to keep our power-ups for later, which will be very useful. Even harder skips than this to make.
Would this be a good time to chime in?
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead.
Excellent. I want to tell you about the incentive for the following run, because time will be running out for that. you can decide what music you want to make that we'll have for the Super Mario RPG remake, between the classic and the remake one. Classic is currently ahead by a spicy $8.11, but there's room for either of them to come up on top still. So get your donations in if you want to see remake pull ahead, or keep classic in the lead.
All right, excellent. Yeah, definitely make sure you're assigning the donations to an incentive. That is very important. So, yeah, unfortunately we did not manage to make that the first time. Good thing is that does have a little backup there by hitting the boo that has a Tanuki. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the medal and then hold top right, and then we're going to make it to the end. Fantastic. And that skips a very long lift section. Very, very long lift, that one. Now, I died twice in that level, and I only lost 37 to PB, and that is 37 seconds to PB, which is, like, normally I would be able to save a lot by doing all of those skips. I don't go for them all in my PB, so very good to still hit all of them, even though didn't manage to get them all first try. That is still pretty good. So moving on, 8-5, we have more flip panels. So the flip panels are going to be activating whenever we jump. And then just get a big long jump there. And then fall down. So at the moment, I think we are on the right amount of medals. This is the final backup. Oh my goodness, that is not normally what I do. The flip panels just throw me off. Like, it's so easy to get thrown off. If you do one thing slightly different, it obviously changes where any of the platforms you're expecting to be are. So what we're going to do is do a long jump, skip, having to go to the top. Oh, barely saving it. Nice. Another diagonal wall jump, which is the only way of saving that. Unless unless you're really high up, which I don't think I was. So, yeah. I'm surprised. That's the only 2 times I've ever been able to save anything with the diagonal wall jump in this game. And they've both been in this run. So, pretty cool. Anyway, moving on. 94. Yes, that is the right amount of medals. So, we have 90 to unlock this level. I mean, I did say earlier we need 100. Wonder what's going on there. Anyway, so this is the point in the run where we are going to fall a bit further behind. Although we are still on pace for a very, very good run, like a 106, 107. Now, normally we would take 10 intentional deaths. And the reason for that is because there's an item in this game called the P-Wing. And if you grab the P-Wing, then it allows you to skip an entire level. So what that does later is we're going to actually save it for the final boss. But, of course, we're not going to do that here because we're going to play the final boss. The issue with that is that for 5 intentional deaths, you also get a white Tanuki suit, which makes you invincible to anything except pitfalls and lava. So that makes this level very nice. Of course, we don't get that because there was no reason to take the 10 intentional deaths earlier. Okay, that's unfortunate. So, yeah. The way that works is really weird. So you can't actually do the long jump... Oh, sorry, the wall jump straight away there. For some reason. So we do have to actually wait. There we go. And barely making sure I actually hit that boomerang there. Very important. Gonna be a bit unfortunate only going into the next level with 1 Tanuki, because that is kind of the nice thing about not grabbing the P-Wing here. Technically speaking, if I didn't mess up there, I would have 2 Tanukis for the next level, which is very good. But if I grab P-Wing, like in an ordinary run, then I wouldn't actually have the extra slot, because it does take up the item slot. And that's partly why we can save it for later. Normally in other Mario games, it doesn't really let you do that. And they kind of got used to the idea of, hang on a minute, you could just... Oh, okay. That's frustrating. Okay, you know what? I'm going to restart level, because I want to have Tanuki for 8-6. It's going to be really bad if I don't have Tanuki for 8-6. That's fine. So, soft reset gives both Tanukis back. That is... Yeah, that's unfortunate, but it's okay. That is the only time I'm going to soft reset this level, though. If that happens again, then we're just going to go to 8-6 with none of them. But the goal at this point is to show off as many of the tricks as I can. So, yeah. That just means we get the... Arguably what is harder than the final boss itself. Again, in this level. Oh, come on. Yeah, this level without White Tanuki, when you're used to doing this level with White Tanuki, is very hard. Also, shout out to that pole. If I grab that pole anywhere else, you get hit instantly. Because of the way those lava geysers work. And again, even with tiny things like this skip, slightly easier if you have White Tanuki, because you can just long jump from where that spike bar is, or spike block. But obviously I can't do that here. You know what? Just get rid of that straight away. We're not even going to risk it. There we go. So just do the climb here, do a long jump, save going in that box. And yeah, we managed to hit the trigger this time. Normally when you die, you can actually skip the Bowser cutscene again, but because I soft reset, we're not able to do that. But that's okay. So we're just going to play a little safe. I do want to keep both Tanukis. There isn't a Tanuki in the next level, if you couldn't already guess. There is one in the final boss fight, though, if I need it. So he started to do these like energy beams. So I want to be a bit careful there. Jump around him, and he's going to need to jump to us at the end. Oh, barely avoiding those. Nice. So a bit of a longer Bowser fight here. So yeah, that was not the final boss. As with a lot of 3D Mario games, there is a real final boss coming up. So we're going to go up here. We're going to be greeted to a cutscene where we have saved Peach. Peach is right there. We saved her. The time is coming up when we hit the flagpole. It's not actually coming up. Yeah, so it's actually a cardboard cutout of Peach, and we have to go and save her again. Now, if you're familiar with another Mario game, New Super Mario Bros. For the DS, you might think, based on the fact that we're going to unlock an entire extra path here, wow, this is going to give us 4 extra levels and a tower level and a final castle. This is amazing. No, it just gives us 1 extra level and 1 extra castle. That's all it does. Which is a bit sad, growing up with that game. I was kind of expecting, especially with how it's laid out, for there to be like an entire extra world, as if it's like World 8 B or whatever, but it kind of is just a bit of an extension. However, this next level is still pretty difficult. And there is a bit of a skip we can do with Tanuki, which does look very precise, because it is. So hopefully you can do that. It wasn't Peach? No. It wasn't Peach. Unbelievable. So yeah, instantly right away, you have an entire chunk of the bottom map, which is skipped. And then right at the end, all those extra 3 dots, those are just going to be gaps as well. So we just jump straight to the final castle, which is a real shame. But yeah, it's still nice to have some extra levels in here. Oops, that is not a long jump. So you want to do a long jump, get some momentum going. And then grab that medal. Normally you want to spin these cogs. That is the gimmick of this level. You want to spin the cogs in the direction they're facing, and then that's how you progress. Yeah, we're not going to bother because they're all really slow. First off, we're going to do a jump here. Manage to make it over here. And swipe that medal. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, that is why we have 2 Tanukis. Very cool. So here, we're going to try our best. Yes, very good. Yeah, so basically if you do a long jump there... Hang on, there we go. If you do a long jump, you are able to just make it onto there. Oh, come on! How did I get hit there? Okay, I have to be a bit more careful now. That's fine. So, essentially, normally those have really small hitboxes. So you can just avoid getting hit by them, but somehow we managed to get hit. That's okay. No big deal. So, normally you can just do a long jump at the end here. We are going to have to back it up with something I don't normally do, and that's using the platforms we've been given. Imagine doing that. So, good thing is, there is one final skip with Tanuki in this level. It's really hard, so I'm not even going to attempt it. And, yeah, good thing, because we don't have a Tanuki remaining. So, I will explain it though. But we do have our 100 medals. We're coming up to the final level. And because of the incentive, because of everyone's generous donations, we are going to be seeing the final boss. So just a bit of a check with pace with this run. I'm on for about a 108. So yeah, still finishing very far ahead. So I'm very, very happy with this run. So essentially, this final boss, apart from this this castle thing being one of my favourites in the entire series, which is why I'm glad to hear this section rather than skipping it by doing the skip here. So we have this kind of dry bones lift, and if we get to the end of this coin trail and do a long jump, same as we've been doing for some of the skips earlier, you can gain a bunch of momentum if you do it in a very precise way, and you go all the way to the left wall, all the way to the right wall, and then you can do a float. And because you have so much momentum, if you did it perfectly, which is what is done in World Record, you can just skip straight to the final platform. We actually don't need medals here now. We can grab them, but we don't really need them. So I'm just going to be a bit safe because I don't have Tanuki. I'm not even going to risk it here. We are just going to be safe. Oh my goodness. Okay, I literally never go around. That is why that was an issue. That's okay. Oh, bit of a small long jump there. That's fine. So the platforms do rise at random times sometimes. So we'll just be safe. There we go. Yeah, so it's really, really good to get the skip here. If you don't make it, I believe it's actually realistic in terms of what's faster to actually take another 10 deaths to get another P-Wing rather than do this section normally, which is a bit sad. I don't really like skipping this. I like it. I like the section. But yeah, so we're coming up on the end of the level here before the final boss. So ordinarily, we'd have a P-Wing, which would just skip to the end, and then we'd just grab the cannon, and that's it. We are going to grab this red ring, though, because it is going to get us an extra Tanuki suit, which I would very much like. Not sure why they went for 5 red coins in this game instead of 8. A lot of other Mario games I've played have 8. So we're just going to be very careful here. It's very easy to miss this. So there is a precise thing where if you hit the very edge, and I mean literally the edge of the castle, like, tower there, the cannon animation, like the perfect landing animation that Mario does, basically doesn't appear. So you can just float and then, like, save a few seconds. Yeah, I'm not going to do that, because if you miss it, which is what I've done in a run before, you then have to redo the entire level. It's not worth it. Yeah. There is a way of doing it where you don't actually hit the edge, but you still get the skip of the animation, but it's a little precise. But yeah, essentially, if you don't go inside of those rings with the cannon shots, the cannons are really jank. So you can just really easily miss. Anyway, yeah, so this final boss is a whole, like, climb section. It's really cool. I am still really sad that this doesn't appear in pretty much any of the runs in this game, which is why I've offered the incentive. So this is pretty much the only time you'll see me do this. So yeah, instantly there we did manage to do a little bit of a skip because we have Tanuki. And then I'm just going to go around here. And then we want Bowser to go all the way to the end, which he has done. Very good. And then jump up there and jump up there and hit the switch. So fun fact in this game, if you complete the whole game, you unlock Luigi. And Luigi has such a high jump that I believe he can just jump above those blocks if you do a very precise jump. Which is quite funny. Oh, do not fall off. Okay. Again, no checkpoints in this level, so I would have to redo the entire thing. So pretty much every time he's firing off these massive, like, laser kind of... I don't even know what they are. They're not even regular fireballs. I don't know. But either way, he's firing them away. And then right at the end here, we have this very janky camera angle. Very, very awkward camera angle. So I'm not even going to risk going for anything there. Time isn't coming up yet. It is going to be on the flagpole. But yeah, we've hit the switch. And there's also now a massive cutscene, which is, again, why it's worth skipping this in a run. But it's still cool to show off. So yeah, that is the game. Thanks everyone for watching. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of 3D Land runs lately. I don't often grind games, necessarily, but I have been doing a lot of games lately which are possible to get sub-hour in. So basically, the story behind that is my main game for the last 2 years has been Wii Play, which is a game in the Wii series, kind of like Wii Sports, games like that, which I have actually run on Prevent-A-Thon before. Time's coming up in about 5 seconds, by the way. And that's time. So yeah,
GG.
thanks for the GG. Yeah, so I am currently going for a sub-hour in this game because I kind of started off with that game of it's really hard to get sub-hour there, so I thought, what other games can I go for a time of under an hour? And at the moment, I'm working on this and Bejeweled, which is also a really, really nice chilled-out game. Most of the time. But, yeah, still really, really happy with this run. Absolutely smashed the estimate, which is good considering the estimate, because the extra estimate from the incentive, which, yeah, again, thanks everyone so much for donating for that. Yeah, thanks everyone for the GGs. We've got some amazing runs coming up. I know obviously there's Mario RPG coming up as well, so yeah, do stick around. Yeah, you can check me out on Twitch if you want to see more runs from me. I am going to stick with this game until we get sub-hour. Currently my PB at the moment is 103.52, and even then, my sum of best isn't even sub-hour yet, so we've still got a long way to go. So yeah, lots more skips to learn, lots more to actually get first try in runs, which is easier said than done. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. I also do other stuff, so I do like quiz games and stuff, interactive quizzes if you're interested, but mainly speedruns. So thanks everyone for watching, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the marathon.
Thank you, Midi. Do you have any shoutouts you want to give?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Just shouts to my community on Twitch. Yeah, you're all the best. I know I see a lot of people in chat at the moment, so yeah, thanks so much.
Excellent.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for this run.